Hello there, I'm Kaz. Until recently, I was unable to find much information on today's developer, Image&Form. Luckily, the ever-awesome CEO of that company, Brian Garrison, who I apologize to if I'm mispronouncing that, was able to share some information on the studio. Image&Form is a studio made up of 11 people based in the Swedish city of Gothenburg, but started off in 1997 as a two-person multimedia and web company. Garrison, the founder of Image&Form, had developed several multimedia experiences while living in Tokyo and San Francisco prior to this, and realized that there was a market for what they did, eventually founding Image&Form. Image&Form would go on to make several PC titles before developing games for iOS platforms in 2009, beginning with Gyro the Sheepdog and releasing more titles for iOS devices ever since. Now that's not to say that every title they've made recently is available at your local app store. In 2010, Image&Form released SteamWorld Tower Defense for the Nintendo DS eShop, which received positive reviews, though Brian has said that getting the title noticed on the shop was difficult despite the positive reception because the DS eShop was, well, terribly designed. Speaking of Nintendo, Image&Form has been focusing all their efforts on their newest title, SteamWorld Dig, A Fistful of Dirt, which is currently topping the 3DS's eShop in Europe. So with all that said, let's dig into SteamWorld Dig.
In his search for answers, he dug up more than he bargained for.
You begin the story as Rusty, a robot who's on his way to see his uncle to inherit his mine, only to fall down below and find his uncle dead. As the new owner, Rusty dedicates himself to restoring the mine to its former glory. The story is very thin, and while the characters display some personality, they won't go down as the most memorable cast of robots. Bottom line, the plot won't go down as a classic like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they do have one thing in common.
We dig, 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 dig in our mine the whole day through. To dig, 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 dig is what we like to do.
It ain't no trick to get rich quick.
If you dig, dig, dig with a shovel or a pick.
In a mine, in a mine, in a mine, in a mine, where a million diamonds shine.
As the title would imply, SteamWorld Dig is difficult to label under one genre. The closest that I could come up with was Western Metroid. No, not that kind of Western Metroid. Forget it. Players are set in a deep mine, exploring the underground for precious minerals that you can unearth while avoiding enemies, traps, and getting crushed because of my bottomless stupidity. Getting crushed because of your carelessness. These minerals can be sold for money, and the amount you earn will also become the experience you earn. The more minerals that you bring up and the rarer that they are, the faster you'll be able to level up and expand the town, which in turn expands the amount of upgrades you can purchase. You'll also discover ores while mining, which, along with the money that you earn from selling materials, can be used to purchase upgrades like more health, a better lantern, and so on and so forth. While exploring the underground mine, you'll uncover new technology that can help you dig faster and deeper down, like a drill that can break through tough rocks, and a steam globe that can break multiple levels of ground at once. Like Metroid, SteamWorld Dig does a fantastic job in capturing this great feeling of isolation as you explore this massive environment by your lonesome, getting all the abilities and upgrades and reaching the end while digging to it as fast as you can and getting all the minerals possible. Unlike Metroid, there's a lot more going on in SteamWorld Dig, as you have to manage more resources than just missiles and bombs. When mining, it's important to keep an eye on your lantern speed on the right, because when it goes out, finding your way around can be difficult in the dark. You also have to watch your water meter. Otherwise, you'll be stuck swinging your pickaxe, since many pieces of your equipment use up water. There are also enemies, some of which will slowly break out of the ground, but they usually don't pose much of a threat. On the whole, the difficulty is on the easy side. It's very forgiving, and enemies can often be avoided, though dying does come with a price, both figuratively and literally. When you die, you lose all your minerals and have to pay a fee, but if you can reach where you died, you can get back all your lost loot. It's a great design, a Metroid structured western that takes elements from Minecraft and Spelunky, with some unique ideas of its own, and it all fits together so naturally. For the most part. The main issue is that you run out of water and lantern light really fast, and pools of water are very scarce, often only filling up a small portion of your meter. Since restoring either isn't easy when you're hundreds of meters underground, you'll constantly be relying on enemies dropping them to restore them both. It also isn't too difficult to trap yourself, but you can always choose self-destruct and restart from the top at a cost. The beginning is very slow, as you have limited storage and little in the ways of quickly digging deeper. The storage in particular can get irritating early on, since you can't drop minerals, and for some reason, some minerals will take up an entire slot, which is especially odd when you can carry it to 4 of a different kind that, when added up, will have more value than that single one. A lot of these complaints all stem from the fact that SteamWorld Dig does have a rough start, but once you're past that, it fires on all fronts. There are some minor nitpicks like the health bar, where some hits will take a whole chunk out of it, but others will only take out a small portion, which is kind of confusing.
How many hit points do I have? A half and 2.5?
It seems like it would make more sense to do what Metroid does, and just have a number with tanks representing your remaining health. Regardless, SteamWorld Dig is a fun, Metroid-esque adventure that improves upon repeated playthroughs, and ranks among the best eShop titles out there. Finally, the presentation. I do find it odd that more 3DS titles are using 2D sprites and animation, but I'm a huge fan of 2D, so I can't complain. And as for the 2D art in SteamWorld Dig, it's solid, no pun intended. Characters have charming animations, and backgrounds, when uncovered, display an impressive amount of detail. There's even some neat effects, like the amount of light around you that slowly decreases as your lantern uses up more fuel. The music is pitch perfect for a Western Metroid, capturing the feeling of isolation, otherworldliness, and the spirit of the Old West, and the sound effects give a satisfying ping to every swing you take, though the music can be a tad quiet in some parts. In short, it's a grand impression for Image&Form's first effort on the 3DS.
SteamWorld Dig is an ambitious little title with a lot of great ideas, and while it doesn't succeed with every goal it sets out for itself, the things that it does get right are done really well, earning an 8 out of 10. That's all for this time, folks. Until next time, game on, my friends.
Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's home from work we go. Hi-ho, 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 it's home from work we go. Hi-ho.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
SteamWorld Dig, a first of its kind game.